Hello everyone, this is the RX Daily Dose. This episode is being recorded on Friday, September 6th, and I'm your host, Ian Parnagoni. I'm extremely excited to start this new podcast. As a healthcare professional myself, I'm constantly on the go, and I find it difficult to keep up to date on newsworthy headlines within pharmacy, and that includes drug updates. This podcast is open to everyone, but especially for pharmacists, nurses, physicians, mental health providers, and other healthcare professionals interested in hearing about pharmacy industry updates. Here on the RX Daily Dose, every week we'll explore and discuss new updates from the FDA, including new drugs coming to market, changes in the pipeline of products being worked on, and relevant press releases from the FDA. We'll also talk about potential industry changes from all areas of pharmacy, whether it be retail, hospital, PBM, pharma, really anything drug related, we'll try to capture it here. A little bit about me before we get started. I am a pharmacist in the PBM industry, and like most pharmacists, started out working in retail. I currently travel for work, so to keep up to date on things, I carve out time once a week to look up relevant healthcare articles, new drug updates, FDA alerts, basically trying to update myself at least once a week on new items that have come to market. And I thought, why not record this for others so that way, when you're driving to work, at the gym, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, you can also try to stay up to date with me. I'll try to cover items from the previous week to keep these short, most likely under 15 minutes, knowing that time is valuable for everyone. And as always with most podcasts and medical information, here's my disclaimer. I have no conflict of interest with any pharmacy channel companies and have nothing to disclose. Any opinions expressed here are my own and mine alone. So with that, let's get started. Two items that came out of the FDA this past week that seemed interesting to me. First, on August 27th, the FDA approved istradefylline, marketed as the brand name Norianz, as an adjunct treatment to levodopa-carbidopa therapy in adult patients with Parkinson's disease experiencing OFF episodes. Norianz is the first adenosine A2A receptor antagonist approved in the United States. There is other competition in this space, including COMT inhibitors, dopamine agonists, and MAOA inhibitors. However, Norianz is being approved for once daily dosing, and it has a more favorable side effect profile than other agents. The most common side effects among those in clinical trials who received Norianz were constipation, dizziness, dyskinesia, hallucination, insomnia, and involuntary muscle movements. In addition, women of childbearing age should be advised to use contraception during treatment, and women who are pregnant are not advised to use the drug. Payers are most likely going to place prior authorization criteria for this product, given that the other drug classes used to treat OFF episodes are all available generically. And the other item out of the FDA this past week, on August 23rd, the FDA granted an added indication approval for Lilly's Taltz, which was approved only for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, now with the added approval of ankylosing spondylitis. This puts Taltz as the sixth agent with this indication, joining Humira, Cimzia, Enbrel, Simponi, and Remicade. A few things for discussion this week. The first is regarding a national shortage of immunoglobulin. We've had this problem for almost a year now, and it's really come to a head this past month. Immunoglobulins are sometimes commonly referred to as IG, is used to treat various immune disorders such as idiopathic thrombocytopenia purpura and some immune-based inflammatory disorders. This shortage has really been caused by some basic economics, really supply and demand. there has been an increase in diagnoses of conditions that IG treats. So basically, if it's a supply and demand issue, why are we just not creating more of this stuff? So to answer that, you really have to know how this is created. So immunoglobulins, IG, is a plasma-derived product. So supply is dependent on individuals going to the donation centers that can accept plasma. Just like you would go to, let's say, a blood bank, there are certain blood banks that also accept plasma donations. And manufacturers of IG have plenty of plasma donation centers throughout the country, and they actually give financial incentives to donate. Being that the economy has done better than anticipated on low unemployment, many people are not going out for that extra cash to make those donations anymore. Realize too that even though you're donating plasma, you can probably do that about, I think it's twice a week. But it takes almost a year and almost 1,000 donations to make enough IG for one patient for 1 year. There are many IGs on the market today. All of them are different concentrations, different administrations, and are interchangeable from a clinical perspective. Some of the most common names are Hizentra, GammaGuard, and Gamunex, just to name a few for you. Knowing that there's a shortage, hospital systems and specialty pharmacies are prioritizing delivery of IG in various ways, including changing dosing based on ideal body weight versus actual body weight, changing the timing regimens to extend the use of the product, and by treating and prioritizing individuals' condition and disease state. Payers, PBMs, are also changing their processes, including removing prior auth criteria, changing formulary strategies, etc., really based on market demand and how it looks day to day. We'll have to see how this plays out. Again, it's basic supply and demand principles that are applying here. So either we make more by getting more donors of plasma, or we change prescribing and demand goes down. Next items from this week involve two manufacturers who have been battling over patents for quite some time now. The PCSK9 battle rages on. First, some background though. PCSK9s are an injectable drug that lowers bad LDL cholesterol significantly. It's primarily used as second-line therapy after statins for cholesterol-lowering effects. Sanofi and Regeneron together market Praluent, while Amgen markets Repatha. Both companies have been battling over patents on these cholesterol-lowering agents since 2014 when they first came out. Amgen even at one point blocked sales of Praluent altogether. Now, just on August 28th, a U.S. court judge overturned a jury verdict. Now, Sanofi and Regeneron have basically invalidated all 5 of Amgen's patents on their product. It doesn't change how things are marketed today as both products are available. However, interesting to look at the timeline of these events and how long this is taking. So it's been 5 years since the original claim, 3 years since the jury verdict, and now just being overturned in the appeals court. The last thing that came up for me this week was current treatment of Clostridium difficile infection. If you work inpatient, this is not an uncommon thought that runs through your mind often about C. diff. Basically, the infection with this bug in the colon results in severe inflammation and subsequent diarrhea, which leads to severe dehydration and sometimes even develops into the dreaded toxic megacolon. And yes, that's an actual term. Clostridium difficile infection, or CDI for short, has increased significantly over the years, and we used to turn to the same protocols such as hand washing with soap and water and the same drugs to treat it for years. However, now, with recent guideline updates, providers need to do their due diligence to make sure vancomycin or fidaxomicin is prescribed over metronidazole for an initial episode of CDI. And that's all I have for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'll include all links and resources in the show notes below, so please go back and check those out too. Please connect with me on social media platforms and give me feedback on what you want to hear about. I'd love to know what you thought about the episode. And as always, feel free to subscribe. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Music by Joseph McDade.